Eldar Week Day 3, and today we are going to be tackling the new Warp Spiders. Absolutely incredible. Seeing how we did the Phoenix Lord the other day, I thought it was about time we jumped back and did the Squad. Then we did Fugan just to break it up a little bit. I might do the Fire Dragons next, or something like that. Azraman will be the Patreon exclusive video this week, so if you want to see that video, you're going to have to check out the Patreon for yourself, signing up down below. You get access to a private Discord server as well, where you can hang out with me on a daily basis and talk about your hobby, take part in all the events that we hold over there, like painting competitions and the like. And like I said, an exclusive video every single week just for you guys over there. Azraman will be this week. Okay, without further ado, let's dive in and get this awesome Warp Spider miniature painted. I'm just so very excited by the fact that the majority of the Aspect Warriors have now been redone in beautiful plastic, and most of them have their Phoenix Lord. We're still waiting on new Dire Avengers and new Karandras for the Striking Scorpions. They're still somewhere in the away. I have no idea about Dire Avengers, but Karandras not being here seems kind of bizarre. Someone did mention that in the current story, in the lore, he is currently missing though, so maybe that makes a bunch of sense. Maybe we'll see him show back up as part of a story arc at some point in the near future. That would be very cool. So I decided to build the Autok, and I built him slightly separate, like sub-assembly a tiny bit. You know, I'm not a big fan of sub-assembly, but I left his jump generator thing off with his additional arms. I decided to give him all blades, so he's a spinning lunatic. I sprayed him black, sprayed him grey seer, and then it was time to dive into this very simple color scheme. He is basically just red, black, gold, silver, gemstones done. Like this very simple scheme. Now, one of the things that I do find a little bit bizarre, and one thing that I'm not 100% sure on the why, is even on the box art, there's a bunch of different colors for different parts. So his faceplate was white traditionally, but some of the examples have it in black, and I think that's just a little bit more sinister, a little bit more awesome looking, because obviously he's got the jump generator on his back is black, he's got like his belt around his thing is black, some of the other details are black, so I think I don't want to add in the extra white. I like the idea of, you know, the flash of this thing jumping through the warp in a little flash, showing up spinning blades, the menacing. I think it's awesome, so I'm gonna go for that. So the first thing I did was I grabbed Blood Angel's red contrast, and I applied this to all the areas which needed to be red, which is the majority of the body. And then when I get to the jump generator, it's just the additional arms, and it's really only the supports and then the kind of armor bit at the end. You'll see in a moment when the red is done and I start to apply the black, which areas are which. Black Templar was of course used for the base coating in of the contrast. I actually ordered another 2 pots of black contrast. Black Templar contrast, because this one is literally on its last legs. Gave a weird kind of glossy finish to it, which I just think the mix of paint, pigment and medium inside of it's just a little bit off, but it's okay. We fix it with a layering job. When you do it with your one, it'll be much cleaner, I promise. So I'm going to take my time and apply that black. Obviously he's got the kind of wrist blades, and obviously the armor panels that connect them to his wrist go all the way up to almost his elbow, but there is sections of red in between, so make sure you do pay attention to, you know, some still images. Always pull up some reference images of things you paint. It will help break up all the different details and see where things are supposed to go. And then of course, fitting the black paint onto the warp jump generator on his back. You can see the areas that I went in with red. In the other examples of this, some of these are done in the gold, some of them are done in white. I like the red just so it kind of pulls the red around the rest of the model. So from whatever angle you're looking at, you're going to have that nice red tone. And obviously the big Eldar symbol in the center is meant to be gold, but red is a great base coat for gold. So when I painted that red in, I just covered it entirely. No big deal. Ironbreaker was then introduced to base coat in the metallics, and the only real silver metallics on this model are the blades, and he has 4 of them. So just get those knocked in silver, no big deal. And then after that, we will, of course, move over to gold, Retributor Armor gold. And then we're just going to pick out all the other details that are kind of left on the model. So all of the Eldar runes, all of the gemstones, all of those kind of bits and pieces that exist around that model, you want to get them in with the gold detail. And after that, we're going to move on to a shade and get the model shaded up. So this is, of course, day 3 of the Eldar week. The weeks aren't consecutive, or the days aren't consecutive. It's not like 7 videos in a row. It's just like I'm going to be doing all 7 videos for the Eldar. So don't be worrying about that. You will get to see them all. We had a little bit delay earlier this week for videos, so we do apologize for that. But hopefully we are back on track with Fugan yesterday and the Warp Spider today. So You can see me being careful with the gold, painting it in that beautiful Eldar rune across his chest. And you can see what I mean about my Black Templar acting a little bit strange on the the big faceplate part there. And on the casings of the blade. It just looks a bit weird. I don't know what happened to it. But it's okay. Like I said, we are going to shade the whole model down. We're going to be using Nuln Oil for that, darken everything down really nicely. And then we're going to start the layering process. So when we get to layering up those black areas, we'll of course tidy those up and fix the mistake that was made by a dodgy pot of contrast. But here it is with all the base coats. It only takes a couple of minutes to get the models to this point, so you could paint up an entire squad of the Warp Spiders in one sitting kind of thing, couple of hours, and you would get them done and they would look pretty sweet. Like I said, I'm going to be using Nuln Oil. This is going to be a great shade for all the red, gold, and of course all the different black areas across these models. Now, obviously I put the texture paste on the base of my Eldar, the orange texture paste, and make it all blend in. It's the same across my entire Eldar range. It's a really nice color. And obviously I just tie in the runes by using a little bit of orange contrast and dry brushing up on top of that. There's very little space around the textured base to add in the texture paste. Yeah, it's a mouthful. But I did manage to squeeze it around the edges, and then obviously all of those Eldar runes that the model stands on, all I do is hit them with the orange contrast. That's literally it. We put in a coat of Gryph-hound orange contrast over those after we've put the texture paste around and they've dried. And then once all of that's dry, both the contrast and the texture paste, we dry brush it with Rise of Rust, and then we dry brush it with Bone. After that's done, that's the base done. You just rim it black and you're finished. Okay, with the shade dry across the model, is now time to go to the layering process. And because they are Eldar, and because each unit is kind of just a small individual project, I feel like I'm going to allow myself to put in a little bit more effort, kind of put in a little bit more work. And because they're Eldar, which are supposed to be like a really pretty army, I'm going to try and make them pop as much as possible. So I'm actually going to go for like the proper 3 stages of highlighting with the red. So I'm going to go Mephiston, Evil Sunz Scarlet, and then Wild Rider Red, all the way up, getting kind of less and less with each highlight. Just kind of going to the sharper edges, or the kind of the highest points where it's going to catch the most amount of light is where we want to add those colors in. And just make that red really stand out and really kind of pop. We of course have 4 videos left to do for this range, for this particular block of Eldar videos. Although I also realize I don't think I've done Eldrad for my channel just yet. So if these videos tend to drag on and they do kind of well and people are enjoying them and I get to the end and people are still a bit hungry for more, I may add Eldrad into it, because obviously he's a gap in my Eldar playlist right now. And obviously with all the new Eldar, I'm sure a lot of people are doing Eldar armies. And Eldrad is a staple of a lot of Eldar armies, so potentially I will do him as well. If you guys want to see me do Eldrad up, I do have the model built and ready to go. Just let me know in the comments and I will see if I can squeeze him in. So as you can see, I'm being really careful with all that kind of segmented armor plates. But also, if you did watch my Fugen video, you will know that I talk about this a lot, the idea of adding in texture, because Eldar armor is not smooth, it is not flat, it is made of basically bone, so it's supposed to be kind of a little bit rough around the edges. It's not like, I describe it, not like stormtrooper armor, not like smooth plastic plates, not ceramic, that kind of thing. So yeah, don't worry about that. You can see I'm just using the tip of the brush, and I'm not really going in for kind of big broad brush strokes. I'm going with kind of little stabby motions, which is still highlighting it, making it look really nice, but it's obviously adding that texture in. I really like how the jump generator is looking, that black and the red and the gold. Black, red and gold has always looked fantastic together. I don't know how many armies I've used those as my 3 main colors. It's kind of embarrassing at this stage. I have to stay away from it. Flesh tears, hello. Anyway, jumping up to Wild Rider for the final highlight. And as you can see, I'm being real careful. Very, very small touches on the highlight. Just catching those last few bits and really taking that armor to the next level, or the last level, if you will. Warp Spiders are just an incredible kit. Like I said, I've actually only built this model out of the kit. So after I'm finished editing this video and I have it all uploaded, I think I will then move along and build the rest of the set and start working on them over the course of the next few days. Obviously with these videos, I make 7 videos, but 4 of them or 3 of them are different aspects, and I just do a single model from them. So I need to carve out the time to paint the rest of the models from each of those sets, which can take a lot of time, but can be definitely worth it. And then of course the gems on the back, where They're not really gems, the bubbles on the back, if you will. Just going in with that last little touch of the Wild Rider red. And of course, around the beautiful Eldar rune, you can see how careful I'm going to be and how little paint I'm trying to leave behind with that, just to make it pop. I don't know whether it was a clever choice to add the blades to the backpack or whether I should have added the gun. I didn't check the rules before I did it. I just was kind of in the mood for the kind of 4 big bladed kind of monster dude. It looks really cool. It really stand out to me. So I decided to do it. You guys can let me know whether it was a good choice or a bad choice. Comments below. So I'm going in with the Corvus Black now, and I'm highlighting all those black areas and trying to tidy them up. Like I said to you before, the black contrast didn't really sit very well. The Nuln Oil did save it quite a lot, and it made it look really nice. So then I could go in with Corvus Black as a single stage highlight. Just tidy up all those black areas, make it look really neat and tidy, and have the red and gold areas be the kind of standout points, if you will, across this kind of section of the model. You know, I don't have to try and add a million tons of texture in with that. It's more of a tidy up job because the contrast didn't go well. And of course, around the helmet as well, but being very careful because I really want to get the kind of shape around the chin. It's not really the chin, it's just below the eyes. There's like a small area where the mouth would be. And then it goes up over kind of where the cheekbones would be. I know it's a helmet, but where the cheekbones would be. And then obviously around the Eldar rune. You have to take your time, make sure you get around those. Because we finished the red, we don't want to hit that with any of the black just now. Then we have to go back and try and fix it all, and it'll be a bit of a nightmare. Okay, you can see the base finish now looking sweet. It's time to layer up all the metallics. All gold and all silver parts will be highlighted now with the silver paint. As you can see, just like the final stage on the red, it's just a really small touch highlight. Kind of sharp points, edges and stuff of those areas, which really just make it kind of sparkle, make it pop. And then also all of the Eldar gemstones, which are currently just sat at gold, you can highlight around the edge of them like I'm doing now. But the actual gemstone, just go for a solid coat of that nice silver paint. Fill in the gemstone with that so that we can come back and hit it with a contrast in a minute just to make it pop. Talazar blue is the color that I went for. I like blue gems. If you want to have green or whatever, just change the contrast around. And that will go straight over that nice silver base coat you've done for the gemstones. And make them pop. It's a really simple way of doing gemstones, and it really does work. I did the same thing with the eyes on this guy. When I was doing the silver highlights, I just painted in the eye lenses of the helmet in silver, and then just added in a little bit of Talazar blue into the eye lenses. With that, it was time to take this guy off his temporary stand and super glue him into place so that it becomes one completed model. And we do have our first new plastic warp spider ready to go, finished up, and looking pretty cool. Really like the base in these guys. And like I said, I can't wait to have the rest of the squad done and have another aspect finished and added to my growing force. I really don't have a lot of troops done for the army yet. It's an awful lot of elite stuff, a lot of aspect warriors. So I'm gonna have to do a couple squads of guardians and stuff just to balance it all out. But I'm sure I will get stuck into that when I can get a little bit more time later in the year. Hopefully you guys are enjoying Eldar Week. Please do let me know what your next video you want to see for Eldar Week will be, and I will see if I can squeeze it in. Okay guys, as you can see, 3 videos down in the series, 4 videos left to make in the beautiful new Eldar range. I hope you guys have been enjoying the first 3. You are enjoying the Eldar content. I'm a big fan of Eldar, so hopefully a lot of people are too, and you are enjoying the videos. If you are, make sure you do those 3 things you should do for all creators' videos that you watch and enjoy. Make sure you give the video a like. If you have anything, questions to ask, or anything you want to say, put in the comments below. And make sure that you subscribe. Those 3 things cost you nothing, but it makes a huge difference as to how many people get to see our videos and how many people they get pushed out to. So it really does make a huge difference, and it costs you nothing. So do it. Thank you guys so much for sticking around at the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.